With that, welcome you inside this edition of Big Ten Today. I'm your host, Rick Pizzo. Excited to take you on the pitch for an inside look at Illinois women's soccer. And wait until you get a peek at the unbelievably exciting start awaiting Big Ten volleyball. But we begin today on the football field. USC will open its season Saturday against San Jose State. It is the Big Ten's lone Week 0 game. Trojans start the year number 14 in both major polls with one of college football's top returning quarterbacks, the nation's most highly touted freshman class, and a first-year defensive coordinator who is new to L.A. but has seen it all throughout his coaching career. Speaking of coaches, thrilled to be joined by USC head man Lincoln Riley as part of today's big interview. Coach, first and foremost, we appreciate the time, especially as you get ready to start your season this coming Saturday.
Of course. We're excited. Great to be playing Week 0. I'm glad that we don't have to wait another week. Our guys are ready to play, and looking forward to our first game in the Coliseum.
Well, Coach, what is the biggest challenge getting ready for a Week 0 game?
I think it's some of the adjustments that you make, leading into, your summer conditioning and your training camp to get these guys prepped and ready to go a week earlier. And so it's something that we really tried to pay attention to, try to understand the advantages of having a Week 0 and, and having another bye week during the season, which we felt like was going to be beneficial. But we've had a really good training camp. I think the guys are excited to play. And I think, our staffer did a really nice job of planning it so that we were peaking here at the right time.
Coming out of camp, what are you most confident about regarding your team heading into the year?
I like a lot about our team. I would say the most confident would be just the amount of returning starters that we have on both sides of the ball. I think there's a lot of excitement there around the players that we were able to retain and some of the older transfer portal guys that we were able to bring in. So I like the experience. There's a lot of excitement, too, around some of the new, right? Some of the new coaches, that we were able to add this offseason, and certainly some of the new players and new freshmen that'll make their debuts as Trojans here coming up.
Well, Coach, you're a coach, so by nature you have to be worried about something. So on the flip side, where's your biggest concern heading into the year?
I don't have worries. I don't really have concerns. I'm just excited to see our team evolve. I know we'll have areas that we'll have to address after the game, and that's a big part of first games is getting a chance to see what you really have and what that's like, and then where do we need to adjust, where do we need to improve, and hopefully having that growth as the year goes on. And but I don't like having worries or concerns. Like, I think we have what we have. We don't get preseason games. We don't get joint practices. So this will be the first time that we line up against somebody else on the other side. And I'm excited to see where we're at. And I know there'll be a lot to improve after that. And we'll look forward to attacking it as the year goes on.
The Hakuna Matata attitude. I absolutely love it. Coach, it is always harder to get ready for an opponent when you don't have game film of that opponent from this year. And that's obviously the case with San Jose State this weekend. What do you know about San Jose State? What should we know about your opponent?
There's definitely been some, that's definitely a challenge. I think all the times for first games, then they've brought in a lot of new players. And so you're trying to start to think about, all right, how are they going to piece this together? And they've got a new defensive coordinator. So there's definitely some pieces to work on, but obviously it's a super well-coached team. Team had a lot of explosive players. They made a lot of explosive plays offensively last year. And defensively really played well the last 2 games with the new coordinator. So, there's definitely a challenge, right? First games, there's always going to be some new for both teams. There's going to be some adjustments certainly within the game for both teams, and I think that's a big key to playing well early.
Well, Lincoln, you mentioned the number of returners that you have, and not just the quantity, but also the quality. Guys like Jaden Mayava, who returns as one of the nation's top quarterbacks, regardless of conference throughout the entire country. How do you kind of identify what his ceiling is? And maybe more importantly, how do you and the staff make sure that he reaches that potential?
Well, we've always felt his ceiling was high, and I think even when he played for us early on in his first year, you could see that and sense that, and he's just grown and grown. His improvement has been honestly striking. From what he was in year 1 for us, those last 4 games to last year, where he established himself as one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and Yeah, and I've seen a lot of growth throughout this offseason, and I think for him, it's just about a daily process, right? It's about getting up and attacking each day. It's about learning the new skill group he's going to be working with, attacking the ways that he knows he needs to improve as a player and the challenges that we put in front of him. And you just stack those days, and that's something he's done a nice job at throughout his career. And even though he's now established himself as a really good player, it's the same formula, right? That's the same thing that helped him get to this point is also going to be the same thing that helps him continue to evolve and grow even more as a player. And so he's a steady guy. He's a guy that you know what you're going to get each and every day. He comes into the meeting room and the practice field ready to work. And I think he's improved a lot. His game awareness and managing the game and learning more about our offense and more about how people are going to try to attack us defensively. So it's always great to return a quarterback that has experience and playmaking ability. He does, and he's just getting better along the way. And excited to see what he does here in this last year for us.
Of course, he did lose two of his top targets, Makai and Jacoby, now on NFL rosters. Hines had a really nice year a year ago, and there's a ton of young talent in that room. How do you see the growth right now of that receiver room playing out early in the year?
Yeah, definitely a lot of new faces. Tanook would be the top returner in terms of what he's done in the past. But yeah, we've got a good room there. We've got some new guys, we got some youth, we got some inexperience, but we have some talent. We have some guys that are ready to go play. So, I've always been one. I don't love to anoint guys until they, go prove it on Saturdays. But I'm excited and confident in the room that we've built and the relationship with Jade and our other quarterbacks. And our expectations there, will not change no matter who we lost. And we have the type of room that's I believe, going to allow us to continue to play the way we want to play.
You have two guys in that room that have now been listed as opening day starters on the depth chart. Overall, you have four freshmen starting on Saturday against San Jose State. How do you handle the young guys differently, especially with their first game, than you do with veterans playing their first game of the year, but not the first game of their careers?
Yeah, I would say first, we don't read too much into starters. I know people make a big deal about it and who's out there the first play of the game, but that's not a huge thing in our program. It's a little bit more for us about who are going to play the quantities of reps, and so we have a lot of guys that are going to contribute, whether they're freshmen or not, and play a big chunk of the reps. And in terms of the young guys, I think for them it's just carrying over what they've done on the practice field, understanding that when we get out to the game, it doesn't need to be anything different. We don't need to see some different version of you. Just show us the competitor that you've been every day and show us, what you've done to earn those reps in the first place. And I do think for our young guys, it helps us, again, having the amount of returning guys that we have, the amount of, kind of high level experience that we have, where those guys can do a good job of saying, hey, it's going to be good. It's still just ball. Just go out there and cut it loose. And I think our group will do that.
Lincoln, you mentioned a new coach or two, including defensive coordinator Gary Patterson, newly minted Hall of Famer. What does it mean, not just for the defense, but for you as well, to have a guy with that kind of experience to bounce ideas off?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. It's hard to explain to people what it's like sitting in that chair as a head coach unless that person's done that. And Gary's obviously not only done it, but done it at an all-time level. So having his expertise and being able to talk with him about all the different things that come at the head coach has been great for myself, for our program. And then certainly the I'd say standard defensively, that he brings into the building with the track record to prove it. His leadership that way, I think, has been invaluable. And you feel his burning desire to be elite defensively and to play the way that he expects to play. You feel that, our players feel it, our coaches feel it, and I think that permeates the entire program. And so, no, it's been a lot of fun being on this side and not competing against them and having him with us. And I can't wait to be on the same sideline with him.
Finally, Coach, you've done this long enough in a couple of high-profile jobs that you just know expectations are part of the gig. You and the coaches know how to deal with them. When it comes to players, I'm curious, how does a staff know that the players are listening to the messages that you guys are sending about keeping the outside noise on the outside?
I think you just watch your players. I think you need to know your players that way. And having a pulse of the team a pulse of the locker room, a pulse of where these guys are at from a mental standpoint and a mentality standpoint is important. I think that's one of the most important parts of our jobs. And so I think like anything, you try to prepare them, and then you watch how they handle it. And if you see things that you don't like or they give you cause for concern, then you address it. And so yeah, I feel like we've done a nice job with the team on that, and trying to stay focused on the things that matter within our walls, and having a confidence and belief that when you take care of those things, then all the things that you want to happen outside of here tend to fall into place. And so, again, I think we have a lot of leadership. The veteran presence on this team is strong, and that has made a big difference in that regard.
Lincoln Riley and the USC Trojans officially kicking off the Big Ten's 2026 season this coming Saturday. Coach Riley, truly appreciate the time. Best of luck.
Thank you. Right on.